Hello everyone and welcome to week 4's game of the week in the SYGZL, and we're in the Sir Geoffrey Boycott division, and we are at the Viking Centre in York, where York Vikings are hosting the Sheffield Steelmen. York are 2-1 and Sheffield are 1-2. The PF ratings for both teams are the same, so there's no need for the extra dice, and it's going to be York who will start the game. And we have a 6-5, which is an XX10, XX10, and that is the X level of the star runner, who is number 29, John Welsh, and it's a 0, greater than, so it can't be because it's a 0. Roll 1d6, 3, so he gets a gain of 1. So number 29, Welsh, gets a 0 of a gain of 1 on the run, and so York take an early 1-point lead. Five, 6, so it's another XX9. XX9 is the X level of the dot wide receiver, which is a 0, greater than, well, it can't be. Pass complete for a 2 getting to the dot wide receiver, and the dot wide receiver is also Welsh, number 29, so he gets a gain of 2, but he is stunned, so we need a little chip to put on the dot wide receiver, which we don't have, funnily enough. He is also the star runner. So there we go. So 2 plays in the book, and there's 3 points on the board. So 5, 6, again it's an XX11 this time. So combination X of the quarterback and the star wide receiver. So the star wide receiver is 1 and the quarterback is 0. Greater than 3, well, no it isn't. Pass is complete for a gain of 3 to the star wide receiver, so York's star wide receiver Lawrence gets a gain of 3, and they're now up to 6. Four, 5. So it's a pass, but it could be a deep pass, and it is. It's deep against X. DX8. So just turn this chart over. DX8. The total levels of the quarterback's X and pass combined. So that is 1. Greater than 3, no. So it's completed for a 3-yard gain, and that gain will be to 6, who is the dot wide receiver, who is Welsh, 29. So Welsh makes a reception of 3, and they get to the 9 zone. One more zone and it's a touchdown. 4, 5. So it's pass against X, PX 5. So pass against X5 is the pass level of the diamond defensive lineman a 1, greater than the quarterback's. No. So it's complete for a game of 1 to the diamond wide receiver, who is number 81, Tom Boyer, and he will go in for a touchdown. And so they'll get the extra points and they'll take a 14-point lead, and Sheffield will come out with the ball. So a good start for York, trying to keep up the pressure on Doncaster, who are playing against Rotherham. And there's some shocking news from there at the moment, in that Rotherham are 28 points to 0 up. Started a bit earlier, but we'll can't find out what happens by the end of the game. So we have a 6-4 XP5 for Sheffield. XP5 is the X level of the diamond defensive back, which is 0. But it can't be greater. Roll 1d6. 2. Passes complete for a gain of 1 yard to the diamond wide receiver, and the diamond wide receiver for Sheffield is number 18, Terry Williams. So Terry Williams gets his first point on the board. (3-2) Pass run 6. So PR6, pass run 6 is the quarterback's pass level. A 2 or a 3? No, it isn't. Roll a d6. 2. Complete for no gain to the star wide receiver, who is number 18, Howell. But it doesn't get anywhere because the diamond defensive back number 46 comes up with the stop for York, and that will be the end of that drive for Sheffield, and the score is 14-1 as York take over. (5-3) XP9. XP9 for York, and it says is the X level of the star offensive lineman, which is a 2. Is it greater than the star defensive lineman? No, it isn't. Rush for a gain of 1 for the star rusher, who is 29, John Welsh. So the star rusher gets another 1. And York are on the move again. Big score could put this out of reach even at this early stage. 2-5 pass against X, and it's a PX12. That could be good. Burn to blitz for a touchdown. So they've scored a touchdown, and this touchdown is the diamond wide receiver. So it's a 9-yard gain for the diamond wide receiver, who is number 81, Tom Boyer. His second touchdown. He's only made 2 catches, and as easy as that, Sheffield are in big trouble. Currently 28-1. So Sheffield need to start doing something now. Here we go. Sheffield have taken the field. 1-2. Run 8. So run 8 is the run level of the star linebacker. A 1. Greater than the star runner? Well, no, it isn't. So a gain of 3 to the star runner, Victor Blake, number 6, gets a gain of 3. Sheffield need to get a touchdown here, really, on this drive, trying to keep in with this game. 2-2-12, so that's a run 12 for Sheffield. Perfect execution, potential big gain for the star runner, who is number 6, Blake. So number 6, Blake. Let's see what he says. What's his run level? His run level is 2. So it's a gain of 1d6 plus 2, so that's 6. So that's an 8-yard gain. But he only needs 7. So number 6, Blake, gets the touchdown. And Sheffield hit back very, very quickly to make the score 28-15. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 timing segments left in normal time before we hit clutch time. But York, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, so they probably will be looking for another big drive here. 4-5. Is it going to be a deep pass? It is, so it's a DX4. So a deep pass by York is the pass level of the star defensive lineman, which is a 1, greater than the star offensive lineman. And it is. So there's a sack for no loss. So there's a no gain for number 6, Moyer. And it's a sack. And let's see who got the sack. Number 4. Number 4 is the diamond linebacker, who is number 32, Calvin Farrell. So the end of that drive, diamond linebacker stopping the drive, and Sheffield will take over. Good defense by Sheffield at a very particularly pertinent time. Went upwards there instead of down. So 3-5. Pass against X, PX3. So pass against X. The unit pass of the D line, which is 2, greater than the offensive line, which it is. So it's a sack by the dot defensive lineman, by number 69. And it's a -1 to the quarterback, number 4, Austin Starks. So 69, so that will reduce Sheffield's points to 14. So the dot defensive lineman gets the stop, and Starks gets a -1 on his run. And York will take over. So we've got a 3-5, which is pass against X, PX3 for York. And we've already had that one. Just add it. The unit pass of the defensive lineman of the defensive line is 5. And the unit pass of the offensive line is 2, so it's going to be a sack. So their quarterback then gets sacked. They would have started with 2 points as well, because it was a safety, because they lost yards. So their quarterback gets sacked, which is number 6, and the dot defensive lineman is 72, Andre Alexander, which will make it 29-14. That's 3 sacks in a row. In this game. So the score at 30-14, and Sheffield will take over. 5-6 XX8. Is the unit X of the D line, which is 2, greater than the O line? Well, no, it isn't. Pass is complete for a gain of 3 to the star wide receiver, who is number 18, Howell. So Howell gets a 3 zone gain. And we're down to 7 time segments left. 2, 3, 10. That's RP10. Run past 10 for Sheffield this time. Is the run of the O line 6? Greater than the run of the D line 5? Yes. Gaping hole goes for a 4 yards for the star runner, and Victor Blake gets another big gain of 4 yards, 4 zones for Sheffield, as they are fighting back. They're now within 9. With 6 standard time zones left and the 4 crunch time zones. 6-2 XR9. So XR9 is the next call. Is the X level of the diamond defensive lineman, which is a 2. Sorry, the diamond offensive lineman, which is a 2. Greater than the diamond defensive lineman, which is a 2. So no, you have to get that in the right way around. Gain of 2 to the dot wide receiver. So the dot wide receiver again is Victor Blake. Picks up another 2. But this time on a pass. There's an error on the scoreboard. It should be 29. And 6-1 XR5. So XR5 for Sheffield this time. X run 5 is the X level of the star defensive back, which is 0. So it can't be greater than anything. Complete for a gain of 3, but he only needs 1. 1 to the star wide receiver is number 18, Howell. And he will go in for a touchdown. And so that is the 4th touchdown of the game. And Sheffield move to 28 against 29. And York will take over the ball with a 1-point lead and 4 zones left in regulation. So York 29-28. Building up to a close game. 5-4 is an XP8. XP8 is the quarterback's X level 0. So we roll the dice and it's a 5. 4-6 is a pass complete for 2 to the star wide receiver. So it's a 2-yard gain to number 19, Keith Lawrence. Giving them a little bit of leeway. Can they run this game out? 3-2. Pass 9 for York. Is the pass level of the quarterback, which is a 1, greater than the star defensive back, which is a 2? So no. So it's complete for a game of 1 to the star wide receiver. So again, Lawrence gets that extra zone, puts another point on the board. Sheffield need to get this ball back. 5-6 XX8 for York. The unit X of the D line is 5. Greater than the O line. Well, yes it is. Roll a D6. 4. Pass is complete for 1 to the diamond wide receiver this time, who is number 81, Tom Boyer. He usually scores a touchdown when he receives a ball. But he's put another point ahead, 5 points ahead now, and with control as we come to the end of regulation time with this play. 4-5, is it going to be deep or normal? It's going to be a deep pass against a pass defense. Deep pass 10. Is the pass level of the star wide receiver 2 greater than the star defensive back 2? Well, no, it isn't, but it's complete for a gain of 3. So the star wide receiver number 19, Lawrence, gets 3 more. As we now go into crunch time, and they're going to go into their time wasting mode. York, they just need to run this clock out. They don't need to score, just need to keep getting a gain. 2-1. Pass run 12. That looks like it could be a good one for York. The quarterback's pass level, which is a 1. Complete to the wide receiver for 7. Well, they don't need 7, they only need 3. So it's a 3 to the star wide receiver, is number 19, Lawrence, and he will get a touchdown. And that is just about the end of the game. That will make them 43-28. And Sheffield will take over with 2 plays to go. But unless they can score a touchdown straight away, it's an event. And it's event 3. It's a minor penalty against the defense. And the player is number 12, who is the dot defensive lineman. Number 69, Frank Fox. But too little too late for Sheffield. This will be the last play of the game, and it is a 4-1 XR4. X level of the star linebacker 2, greater than the star runner 1. Yes, no gain, so that's going to be the end of the game. Number 6 Blake gets nowhere, and the star linebacker number 47, Darrell Anderson, gets the stop, and that will be the end of the game. They make a gain of 1, and so the final score: York 43, Sheffield Steelmen 29. And we will be back shortly with the roundup and the situation in the standings after week 4. We'll be back very shortly. So, recapping the game in week 4 game of the week in the SYGZL, the York Vikings beat the Sheffield Steelmen 43-29. The Vikings had 307 yards receiving and 33 rushing, and the visiting Steelmen had 87 yards receiving and 148 yards rushing. And what that does for the standings, I can zoom in a little bit. This is the standings after that game, and in the Sir Geoffrey Boycott division, the York Vikings with that victory go top of the division taking the lead from the Doncaster Gallopers, who were unbeaten at the time. I'll show you that game sheet very shortly. Rotherham are in third on 6 points, and the Steelmen are at the bottom with 3. In the Derek Dooley division, the only unbeaten team left in the competition are the Barnsley Miners with 12 points, 4 wins out of 4. Conisbrough Castles have got a record of 2-2 with 6 points, so they're a fair way off. Wakefield Woolmakers are 1-3, and the Leeds Dons, the only team without a victory, are 0-4. So the roundup of the results: Barnsley 31, Wakefield 10, Conisbrough 24, Leeds 10, Rotherham 50, Doncaster 43, and York 43, Sheffield 29. Now, the Doncaster game was a real humdinger of a game. Went to overtime, and this is the score sheet. Rotherham went 31 points up. They went 31-0, and then Doncaster came back to close it at the end of the regulation time slots to be leading by 31-36 and in control. They tried to waste the time and they fumbled the ball, losing the ball, Doncaster taking over, and Doncaster managed to tie the game on the last play and go into overtime. So they went into overtime at 36-36. Now the overtime rules are it is a 10 time segment period and 4 crunch time. And whoever at the end of that is winning wins the game, unless there is a touchdown. As soon as a touchdown is scored, that is the end of the game. So obviously the home team, Rotherham, had the advantage, but they couldn't take the advantage. They took a lead of 40-36, and then Doncaster took over and made it 40-41. Rotherham then had their second drive of overtime, and at the end of regulation was 44-41 in front. Doncaster took over and brought it to 44-43, and then Rotherham, with the last play on the 0, they fumbled for a loss of 1 yard, which would have tied the game, but their offensive lineman, who is Sutherland, picked the ball up in the end zone and advanced 7 zones to win the game 50-43 and end Doncaster's dominance of that division. And so that led to Doncaster's first defeat. So next round 5, which will be halfway through the regular season, we'll see an interdivision round. Barnsley, unbeaten, will play Doncaster, and that would have been the 2 unbeaten teams had Doncaster not lost to Rotherham. Conisbrough will host Sheffield. Rotherham will host Leeds, and York, the new leaders of the Sir Geoffrey Boycott division, will host Wakefield. The game of the week will be the Doncaster-Barnsley game, so that could be a decisive game and give us a sort of indication as to what the chances are if these two meet in the AOP Bowl number 1 at the end of the season. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I hope you also like the new score sheet that I've done with the little logo and the games and everything, and all the players already on the sheet. Hopefully you'll join me for the big game in week 5 when Doncaster visit Barnsley. Probably the 2 best teams in the league, but who knows, they may not both get into the AOP Bowl for the first time. So hopefully we'll see you again, and thanks for watching.